So I'm Abhi Veerakumarasivam. I'm a professor of genetics and the provost of Sunway University. So as a geneticist, I think it's obvious the emerging genetic technologies and also the increased amount of genetic information and its various implications. But if you were to ask me what is the single most important threat, I think it's misinformation and disinformation and within the background of infodemics and how we actually are dealing with this. And it's really a factor that there is a growing distrust and mistrust in all sectors of our lives, and it's obviously sometimes a result of nefarious actors out there. But what also I think it's a reflection of the gross inequities that actually exist, within countries and outside between countries, and I think if we don't adequately address the problem of misinformation and disinformation, this is going to be a significant threat for harmonization and peace within a country as well as between countries. But more pertinently, I think when you talk about security, the misinformation, disinformation has significant effect. We've seen this in the pandemic, how it actually influences public policy decisions, and as a result, public health and security becomes a massive issue. Yeah, so I think there are many things that we can do. Within Malaysia, I think it's really important. Every country takes this responsibility to develop local capacity, local sufficiency, and this includes having core individuals, teams that can actually work on addressing this issue and understanding this issue. As a scientist, I think it's becoming more and more prevalent. We need more social science input into this field. Secondly, also a major issue really is the fact that we don't have enough data and really investment in this area so that we can actually make significant information or informed decisions. But the reality is that this is not a local issue, it's a global problem. I think there's a risk of misinformation, disinformation. Your actors are everywhere and it actually impacts everyone. Which is why I think SIPRI's initiative and the reason why I'm here, developing a toolkit where we can perhaps enculturate the scientific ecosystem to be able to effectively mitigate risk by actually doing and conducting proper risk assessment and making it part of a culture of a scientist is extremely critical. Not just to mitigate the biorisk, but also to provide a tool to harmonize dialogue between countries. If all of us are using similar benchmarking tools, similar language, you'll find that robust international dialogue that we need for peace becomes a reality. So it's going to sound cliche, everybody, but because it affects everyone, and we also now know that everyone is an expert in their own right, whether you accept it or not. It's their reality, and therefore it's a reality. But I think the scientific ecosystem, has to really think about how it needs to, function. A lot of our science has been very focused on publications, IP generations, and some of these surrogate markers of what science actually is. The reality is that science needs to be a lot more relevant, and scientists need to understand not just their professional responsibility, but their social responsibility. As a knowledge generator, synthesizer, and disseminator, I think we do have this responsibility to start engaging amongst ourselves, to embrace the fact that we don't actually know everything, to engage the quadruple helix, and to build trusted scientific networks. When I say scientific networks, it's not just scientists, but actually also the friends of science, so that our role and influence becomes bigger, and hopefully we can be part of that larger efforts for organizations like SIPRI who are trying to promote this peace and harmony across the world through every different initiative. I think it starts at an individual level, creating that culture.